What if I told you that everything you've been reading about James Gunn's Superman being a massive success is carefully orchestrated spin? While mainstream entertainment outlets are celebrating the film crossing $600 million worldwide, the reality behind the numbers tells a completely different story, one that Warner Bros. Is desperately trying to hide. I'm going to break down some shocking developments from the past week that reveal just how troubled this Superman release really is, including deleted documentaries, emergency price cuts, and PR moves that scream damage control. Before we dive in, if you're enjoying this independent analysis that cuts through Hollywood's marketing noise, smash that like button and subscribe for more honest entertainment industry coverage. Your support keeps channels like mine alive in a sea of corporate-sponsored content. Let's start with that supposedly triumphant $600 million milestone. Last Friday at exactly 5:59 p.m. Eastern, notice that timing, Warner Bros. Blasted out a press release to every major entertainment outlet, trumpeting Superman's worldwide box office achievement. But here's what they're not telling you. $600 million is actually a disappointment for a film of this scale and budget. To put this in perspective, this summer alone we've seen Jurassic World Rebirth rake in over $850 million globally. And that's exactly the kind of performance Warner Bros. Executives were expecting from their Superman reboot. Instead, they're stuck celebrating numbers that don't even guarantee the film will break even. Even more embarrassing? James Gunn's Superman is tracking to fall short of Zack Snyder's Man of Steel from 2013, and that's before adjusting for over a decade of inflation. Imagine spending hundreds of millions on a modern Superman film only to underperform against its 11-year-old predecessor. Now, I've worked with major entertainment PR firms before, so I recognize sophisticated damage control when I see it. That Warner Bros. Press release wasn't just an announcement. It was a masterclass in corporate spin designed to reshape public perception. Let me walk you through their strategy. First, they lead with emotional language. The headline promises Superman is soaring to $600 million. Notice how they avoid saying struggling to reach or barely achieving. Every word is calculated. Second, they immediately claim widespread critical praise and enthusiastic word of mouth. This is PR code for please ignore that this movie is actually pretty divisive among audiences. They're trying to manufacture consensus where none exists. Third, they cherry-pick international markets. The release specifically mentions strong showings in the UK, Mexico, Brazil, and Australia, while conveniently ignoring all the territories where Superman completely bombed. It's like highlighting your A's on a report card while hiding the D's and F's. But the most telling part? They got both James Gunn and Peter Safran to essentially interview themselves with a joint quote about being overwhelmed and inspired by the energy and enthusiasm of our magnificent global audience. When studio executives have to write their own victory lap quotes, you know something's wrong. Here's a detail that should set off every alarm bell. Warner Bros. Released this supposedly triumphant news at 5:59 p.m. on a Friday evening. In the entertainment industry, Friday evening is when you bury bad news, not celebrate victories. Major announcements happen on Tuesday through Thursday mornings when they can dominate news cycles. Evening Friday releases are the corporate equivalent of taking out the trash when nobody's watching. The fact that Warner Bros. Couldn't wait even one more business day to announce this milestone suggests they were in panic mode, desperate to get positive headlines out before the weekend, regardless of whether anyone would actually see them. But the box office spin is just the beginning. Let's talk about what happened with Superman's digital streaming release, because this is where Warner Bros.' desperation really shows. In my previous analysis, I reported that Superman's video-on-demand performance was underwhelming, failing to dominate digital charts as the studio had hoped. Some viewers pushed back, claiming I was misreading the data. Well, guess what happened less than 24 hours after my report? Warner Bros. Slashed Superman's digital rental and purchase prices across both Apple and Amazon platforms. Think about that timing. Movies typically see price reductions 3 to 4 weeks after digital release, once initial demand plateaus. But Superman got an emergency price cut after just 9 days. That's not strategic pricing. That's panic selling. It's like Warner Bros. Is simultaneously trying to convince the world that Superman is their greatest success, while quietly doing everything possible to minimize their losses behind the scenes. Now we get to perhaps the most revealing development of all. Right before Superman's digital release, James Gunn and Warner Bros. Published a behind-the-scenes documentary on YouTube called Adventures in the Making of Superman. This should have been a slam-dunk marketing tool, giving fans insight into the creative process while building excitement for the digital release. Instead, it became a public relations nightmare. The documentary inadvertently exposed tension between Gunn and lead actor David Corenswet.
So if I say, that's what it is to be human, that feels like I'm trying to prove it still, as opposed to I really know it.
That's exactly where the issue is, right? Because what he didn't tell you was it was wrong to feel that way. There are feelings and there are thoughts. He starts saying, I don't know if I feel this.
The whole crew's sitting around waiting like, come on, let's shoot, let's get this done. So finally I walked off set and to talk to
showing Corenswet professionally questioning some of Gunn's creative decisions about the Superman character. Rather than engaging constructively, the footage shows Gunn responding dismissively and unprofessionally. Once social media picked up on these interactions and started criticizing Gunn's behavior, what did Warner Bros. Do? They deleted the entire documentary. That's right, they produced a whole documentary to promote their movie, released it publicly, then scrubbed it from the internet when it made their director look bad. The YouTube link now shows the video as private, and I couldn't find it on any other official Warner Bros. Or DC channels. Ask yourself, if everything is going so perfectly for James Gunn's Superman, why are they deleting their own promotional materials? When you step back and look at all these developments together, the carefully crafted press releases, the Friday evening news dumps, the emergency price cuts, the deleted documentaries, a clear pattern emerges. This isn't the behavior of a studio celebrating success. This is damage control in real time. Warner Bros. Is a company carrying significant debt, and a lot was riding on Superman to deliver both critically and commercially. CEO David Zaslav personally championed hiring James Gunn, and now he needs to justify that decision to investors and board members. So instead of admitting they may have misjudged audience appetite for Gunn's take on Superman, they're doubling down on spin, hoping they can manufacture positive sentiment through sheer marketing force. Let's be clear about what box office success actually looks like in 2024. For a big-budget superhero film with Superman's marketing spend, $600 million worldwide is not victory. It's damage limitation. Modern superhero blockbusters need to hit $800 million to $1 billion globally to be considered genuine successes. Anything less, and studios start having uncomfortable conversations about budgets, creative direction, and future projects. The fact that Superman is struggling to outperform decade-old entries in the same franchise should terrify Warner Bros. Executives. It suggests that audiences aren't responding to Gunn's vision the way the studio hoped. What makes this situation particularly frustrating is how mainstream entertainment media has largely bought into Warner Bros.' narrative without question. Major outlets are parroting press release talking points about Superman's soaring success without examining what these numbers actually mean in context. This is why independent analysis matters. When corporate interests align with media outlets, whether through advertising relationships, exclusive access, or simple laziness, audiences don't get the full picture. The implications here extend far beyond just one movie's performance. James Gunn was hired to oversee the entire DC Universe reboot, with Superman serving as the foundation for everything that follows. If Superman can't generate the kind of enthusiasm and box office power that Warner Bros. Needs, what does that mean for upcoming projects like Supergirl, The Authority, or the planned Batman reboot? Studios make decisions based on data, not hope. If Superman's numbers don't improve dramatically, don't be surprised if we start hearing about creative differences, schedule changes, or strategic pivots in DC's future plans. Here's my advice. Ignore the press releases and marketing spin. Instead, watch what Warner Bros. Actually does. When they're cutting digital prices after 9 days, deleting promotional content, and timing announcements for maximum burial, they're telling you everything you need to know about Superman's real performance. The entertainment industry runs on perception as much as reality, and right now, Warner Bros. Is working overtime to manage both. But the cracks are starting to show, and no amount of expensive PR can change disappointing box office fundamentals. What do you think about these developments? Are you buying Warner Bros.' success narrative, or do you see the same red flags I'm pointing out? Let me know in the comments below. And if you appreciate honest entertainment industry analysis that doesn't just repeat corporate talking points, consider supporting this channel by liking this video and subscribing for more content. Independent voices need your support to keep bringing you the stories that mainstream media won't tell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.